So just a quick kind of noun on optimization. So the action of making the best or most effective use of the situation or resource. So companies interested in the optimization of the business. So this is all about moving to the cloud or thinking of moving to the cloud. We want to make sure that you're spending the money in the right way possible. And along with that kind of means, improving the efficiency by identifying the underutilized resources. So one of the things we kind of get asked most, or we come across most, is some organizations will have moved to the cloud, whether it's recently or a few years ago, but they've just lifted and shifted their kind of on-premises infrastructure to the cloud. And some businesses want to do that, which is absolutely fine, but one of the problems you come across when you do that is the infrastructure that you've bought on premises. Obviously, when you've bought a host or a physical server, you've bought that equipment and that's yours. You're not paying per month for it. That piece of hardware is yours. So whether you put one virtual machine on that or 10 doesn't really matter to you at the time, because that hardware is yours. But when you move to the cloud, if you just lift and shift them resources, then Microsoft Azure is going to think that you need all of them resources, in which case, the application on there could only be using 10% of what you actually need. So it's about kind of recognizing what resources them applications need, and if you can downsize them to a more realistic size, that would be much better, and you can save money and spend it on other products or projects moving to Azure. And again, that comes with kind of resize and VMs. The most cost-effective is option. We're quite lucky that Microsoft Azure offers so many different size and specifications, so that there's always something that can fit your kind of requirements, and hopefully the optimization can help you with that, and hopefully we'll show you some kind of success stories of where we've done that in the past. And again, optimization isn't just talking about once you're in the cloud. A really good way to go around moving to the cloud and doing it in stepping stones is to make sure that you can right size before you move there. So as part of your project, you might think, oh, I'll have a look at the infrastructure that I've got on premises and run some tools and see, before we move to Azure, what resources or what sizes are we going to deploy in Azure to support these applications. It takes a bit of extra planning time, admittedly, but the cost savings and the fact that you don't need to go over that again once you're in Azure is really good. And again, only gives you more benefits once you're in the cloud. And then an important one really is Microsoft would much prefer your money to be spent on resources that are going to benefit your business. It makes no sense to Microsoft to keep your machines running on the maximum size possible, because you're going to have no money to spend on other projects. So it's in our best interest, as well as Microsoft's and your own, to optimize as you go along, or have periodic reviews for optimization. So talking around the optimization tools available, so Azure Migrate is one that Microsoft have acquired recently. And it's a really good tool. It's free to use in Azure, which is always a bonus. So it only used to support VMware, which is a bit of a shame, because obviously customers will have on-premises resources that are VMware or Hyper-V, but that has recently changed. That went into preview and is now globally available, that you can use it on Hyper-V and physical machines as well. So definitely check out that tool. That's one that we turn to first, because we're obviously a Microsoft partner. We want to use Microsoft native tools where we can. So we tend to go to that one first, and especially now it's got more support for different hardware. That's one of the ones that we use most. So Cloudomize, this is a tool that we used to use when Azure Migrate didn't support Hyper-V. So again, it's another tool that once before you've moved to Azure, you can run it on your environment, and it will basically scan all of your environment that you choose to install an agent on, and it will give you things like memory, CPU usage, network, storage. It will literally scan the whole environment and make recommendations for you to use in Azure. So this is one of the ways that you can optimize before moving to Azure, so you know that you're in safe hands and you're spending what you should be spending in Azure once you're there. Map Toolkit, so yeah, a bit of a more simpler tool than Cloudomize. It's not as detailed in the output that it gives you, but it's free, which is always a bonus. So you can install Map toolkit on any of your hardware, or link it to your network, and it will scan all of the IPs that you choose to scan. And it gives you kind of sizes and the different network bandwidth that it's using, the CPU usage and memory, etc. So if you're looking for a quick tool to get running, then that could be really useful. And also, once you're in Azure, there's tools such as Cloud Health and Azure Advisor. So Cloud Health is actually the tool that we use for customers once they're in Azure. So we'll talk a bit about the optimization we do for customers afterwards. But if you've got resources running Azure, you can run Cloud Health, and it will scan your whole Azure environment and look for ways to optimize. It's a really smart tool. And if we're talking about SQL virtual machines, for example, or databases running on Azure SQL, it will actually look into them databases and see if you can go to a lower tier, or if you can kind of condense systems into other systems, obviously bearing in mind that it needs to be secure still. But it's a really informative tool that will help you save money. We've seen some really good kind of use cases with this. So talking around, kind of only quickly touching on optimization success stories. So these are two clients that we've done most recently. So we do, as part of our gold support package, and optimization review every 3 months. So the most recent review is where we're kind of talking to you about these clients now. So one of them is Future Thinking, and we managed to save them £19,000 a year, which they were over the moon about. It meant to them that they could save money and stop wasting money in Azure on resources that were sitting there. And it also meant that they could spend more money on project work, which will in return give them more business growth and kind of invest more into the cloud journey that they're on at the moment. And another one, I can't say the name, but government contracted security firm are actually saving £48,000 a year. And it's worth mentioning again that these figures are only on the last 3 months. So these customers have been with us over a year now, and we've already carried out 4 reviews on them. So these figures were even more in the first place, and it's just about helping the customers and also helping yourselves get the maximum kind of value when you move to the cloud. And customers and everyone's always adding resources to Azure, so it's important that we kind of carry out them checks to make sure that whilst them resources are being created and people are having fun in the cloud, that we also make sure that the spend in the cloud is realistic, and it's helping the business as well as helping yourselves. So they're just a few customer success stories, and we're hoping that the more we do this in the future, the more savings we're going to save for customers.